Discrimination towards Chinese people negatively affects all Asians because many people cannot tell Asian people apart. That's why in 2019, many Asian people were attacked under the pretense that they were Chinese. While the world is discussing the Iran conflict and the Strait of Hormuz, Canada is focused on Michael Ma. And it seems a lot of these MapleMaga influencers online, the only evidence they have is that Michael Ma has a Chinese face. And this is enough for them to say he is a CCP spy. Everyone knows Ma is one of the CCP 老鼠. First of all, it's the CPC, Chinese Communist Party. And yeah, it seems like a lot of people have an issue with Chinese people congregating, people celebrating Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year. The MapleMaga crowd, they have a problem. I admit this one's pretty funny. But, most Canadians I talk to, they're surprisingly sensible about this issue. I know 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I feel like discrimination towards Chinese people was very, very common. But these days, I'm noticing more nuance. And I'm seeing that the many Canadians really do look into history and they understand that China and Canada have always been cooperative partners. But there's a small minority of people who just are convinced that China is a boogeyman and China is the worst. And I'm sorry to say, I think a lot of these people are supremacists, white supremacists, wignats. They consume a lot of American media. They consume a lot of American talking points. And I've spent a lot of time listening to these wignats and white supremacists talk on Twitter Spaces. And I will tell you, there's very little unity in that movement. And they're not going to go anywhere. And, in the comments, it's always someone with an American flag advocating escalation and violence. Every time I debate with an American on Twitter Spaces, if they lose the argument, they resort to force and threats and insults. Again, most Americans I meet are great. Most Canadians I meet are great. Mike here is very concerned. Oh, Caucasian man is holding hands with ethnic Chinese men. Both are Canadians. Where is the crime here? China is a natural rival to America and America's allies in the sense that China's population, history, and culture kind of opposes America in a way if you use Cold War rhetoric, right? China is socialist, communist, China is more collectivist, America is more individual. But does that mean we have to think in a Cold War way? Do we have to see that China and America have to be natural enemies forever? No, that's just zero-sum binary thinking. In the past, Chinese people were seen as difficult. That's why they were given the Chinese head tax in North America. Even though they built the railroads, they contributed a lot to Western society. When they finished building the railroads, oftentimes the Chinese people were told to get out of the way or go away so that they're not in any of the pictures. The reason China is celebrating Michael Ma as a hero is because this disgusting forced labor smear hurts all Chinese people. It attacks the Chinese soul. The narrative talks as if Chinese people are more devious, are more prone to commit evil, or Chinese are more robotic, more prone to be controlled by a government. These are all very subtle racist tropes. And I'm not trying to be all sensitive and woke, but again, anti-Chinese racism hurts Chinese people and all Asian people. Again, these forced labor claims are funded by Washington. The NGOs, the non-governmental organizations, the human rights groups, oftentimes they're funded by American three-letter agencies. And in my other videos, I've broken it down. Yes, there are other reasons people might be hating on Michael Ma, but from what I see, from comparing the outrage in this case compared to other cases, I would argue there Michael Ma is getting it extra heavy because he's Chinese. There is an element of racism, bigotry, and xenophobia. By the way, Winnie the Pooh is not banned in China. Remember when China bought America's debt in the 2008 financial crisis? At that time, China thought, okay, maybe things are warming up with America. Maybe we can work together. China asked to join the Western space program, and they were mocked and laughed out of the room. And so China made their own space program. And so part of the racism and discrimination or rivalry has actually pushed China to maybe new heights. So again, I'm not here trying to complain. I'm just saying this is the world we live in. This is where we are. If China didn't have their own space satellites and Beidou system now, the Iran conflict could look very different. It's very ironic to me. And people say, I'm a Chinese shill, I'm a paid propagandist. I've been doing since 2019, and I never thought I would get, so many followers on TikTok and Twitter. I do this because, again, I feel like the lies against Chinese people, it hurts the Chinese soul, it attacks the Chinese culture, and it creates general anti-Asian discrimination and even violence. Especially the elder Asians being attacked on the street. Like, that's just ridiculous. Thankfully, that seems to have gone down. And to end things on a positive note, I'm seeing so many young people foreign to China speaking fluent Chinese Mandarin. I am so impressed. I see young people going to China to do culture exchange, to check out the AI, to participate in science conferences. I think that's awesome. I really hope for a more peaceful, unified world in the future where we can all appreciate each other as human beings and not label each other so easily and put each other into boxes so easily. A lot of times I make these videos late at night after my daughter goes to bed and I'm kind of tired, so I make really simple mistakes. Like in the other video, I said American Institute of Technology when AIT is American Institute in Taiwan, like the most basic facts. And it's pronounced Zhen Li Wen, but I said Chen Li Wen. I mean, what am I doing? You can see that my videos are very low quality. I kind of like my punk rock ghetto style. It's yeah, if I'm a paid propagandist, I'm doing some really poor work, my friends.